Good morning and welcome to this Centre of Excellence for Emergency Coordination and Event Management. I'm Lee Hazelwood, the Waikato Group Controller and Manager. I'd like to take you on a tour of this facility today and share with you some of the interesting facts and data that make it the unique building that it is. In addition, I'd like to share with you some of the technology that will put us at the forefront of emergency coordination in New Zealand. This Centre of Excellence for Emergency Coordination and Event Management is a $5.2 million Importance Level 4 or IL4 facility, housing the Civil Defence Group Emergency Management Office, the Group Emergency Coordination Centre, Hamilton City Council Emergency Operations Centre, Hamilton City Council City Safe Monitoring Centre, and the Collaborative Network Office. The facility also provides as-required coordination centre resources for Waikato Regional Council's various emergency response obligations, such as the oil spill response, flood management, biosecurity, and incident response. The 641 metre square centre comprises 6 primary areas, supplemented by a number of smaller, daily use meeting rooms or offices that can be used as breakout rooms during activations. These areas include the GEMO office space for up to 15 staff, a purpose-built camera monitoring centre and adjoining office space for up to 14 staff, a media room, a hot coordination centre for up to 12 staff ready to go 24/7, a conference room for up to 20 people, and a training room for up to 50 people. These last 3 areas can be configured as one large coordination centre housing upwards of 60 staff, as 3 separate EOCs for concurrent emergency needs, or as a large meeting space for emergency management related conferences or workshops. The centre is a collaborative effort between a Waikato Civil Defence Group, Hamilton City Council, and a Waikato Regional Council. The multi-use facility costs the ratepayers $546,000 per annum, reducing to approximately $388,000 per annum after 6 years. In addition to the tenants, many stakeholders and partner organisations, the Waikato CDM Group and Hamilton City Emergency Management, benefit from the use of the centre through the provision of CDM and business continuity training, conferences and workshops, all in the support of a broader community resilience. These entities include government agencies and NGOs involved in the provision of emergency welfare, lifeline utilities critical to our community's well-being, and business institutions supporting the economy and vitality of our communities. One of the outstanding and unique aspects of this facility is that it is owned by the D.V. Bryant Trust, with all profits from our lease going back into the community. Let's talk a little about the building itself. The total cost of the entire 7,000 square metre Genesis building was $47 million, and it took 16 months to complete. IL4 buildings are designed not only to survive, but to continue operating as close to normal. Every fixture and fitting must be engineered to meet IL4 specifications, right down to the ceiling mounted projector stands. To meet IL4 requirements, the building must also be fully redundant. Emergency power is provided to every point in the building by a 1,000 kilowatt generator with fuel for operation up to 12 hours. Grey water and sewage can be stored for up to 24 hours without pumping. There is a 5,000 litre rainwater tank and a 12,000 litre emergency potable water tank. Fibre enters from each end of the building. The emergency management systems within the facility also have redundancy to include 1 satellite phone, 6 analogue phones, fallback satellite internet for up to 2 computers, 3 wireless systems, including one with limited firewall for external agency use, 4 different radios, backup telemetry for river gauges, emergency services radio antenna hookups, and disaster recovery servers. CDM can currently access 200 web-based sources of information for our duty officer, including beach and volcano cameras, live weather data, and FENS response information. Additional sharing arrangements in process are increasing this number daily. In addition, there are currently over 150 cameras feeding into the City Safe Monitoring Centre, with capacity for many more. The monitoring centre covers the CBD, suburbs, and Hamilton's night economy. And finally, the people. The Waikato CDM Group currently comprises 13 staff and provides direct local service delivery for Waikato District Council and Hamilton City Council, along with its group-wide technical support and planning obligations. The building also serves as a home base for 22 City Safe and partner officers, covering crime reduction, compliance, graffiti removal, and transport operations. I would now like to introduce Derek Finn, a Senior GIS Analyst with Waikato Regional Council. Derek is responsible for much of the integration of the GIS technology you see around the building today, providing us outstanding situational awareness. In addition, Derek is leading the way for the integration of GIS at the national level across the board.
You're going to hear the term Common Operating Picture a lot in the future if you work in the emergency management sector. At the simplest level, a Common Operating Picture is a display that gives decision makers the ability to look at the information on big screens from across an operations centre and be able to intuitively be aware of the situation. Further, it can be a single identical display of relevant information shared by more than one operations centre at different locations, and the data is integrated from multiple existing and live field collected sources to support all functions of response using one platform. We have started developing a common operating picture for the Waikato CDM group and all its partners. There are potentially many platforms that can be used to build a common operating picture. Here we are looking at some initial examples from the ArcGIS online platform. We have Survey 123, which is an example of an app that allows us to source prescribed information from stakeholders or communities in real time using their mobile devices. We have the Situational Awareness Viewer. This is a one-stop shop for getting an overview of most situations and allows non-technical staff to apply some basic analysis to live information. There is the Incident Briefing Story Maps. These provide a series of maps or dashboards that summarise the situation for an event or hazard type. Operations dashboards can take stakeholder and crowdsourced data and convert it into analytical dashboards and maps in real time. Evacuation zone maps allow for speedy planning and analysis of evacuations. And finally, public information maps that provide verified, timely, applicable and accurate information to the public. This is just to name a few. In terms of when we should be using these tools, best practice recommends breaking down your emergency management work into phases. Each phase relates to the timing of a response relative to the actual impact or event. As emergency managers and intelligence practitioners, we are now starting to get a game plan for what to be focusing on and when. There are a couple of tools I'd like to briefly talk a bit more about that we should all be using during all phases. This is the Google Chrome bookmarks. It's simply a Google Chrome account specifically set up to collate all possible applicable sources of intel from the web under one login. Many of these websites are public. A few are behind additional login credentials. There are nearly 200 websites available, and social media is still to be included. The cool thing about this tool is that when using the bookmarks, you can simply find an applicable hazard or event, select the applicable websites you want to open, and then use the revolver widget to automatically rotate through the tabs at whatever place you'd like. And click the revolver tool, and they will start rotating through. Next, we have the Situational Awareness Viewer. This serves up a lot of live data coming straight from the sources in real time. We're talking incidents, weather observations, weather alerts, state highway status, traffic, earthquakes, volcano status, webcams, MODIS hotspots, local and regional declaration status, local and regional activation status, and civil defence centre status. Soon we hope to be able to also add live web services showing local road status and detours, local CCTV footage, and hydrological observations. The Situational Awareness Viewer also has the ability to provide dozens of widgets which allow non-GIS staff to do simple analysis. For example, the Situational Awareness Viewer. This widget allows us to define an impacted area and immediately view underlying analytics about that area. In this example, we are looking at demographics, but the widget can be applied to any data that you like. Obviously, the sharing of timely, relevant and accurate information with the public during emergencies is also critical, and we already have a public information map available that shares live weather, state highway, civil defence centre and district declaration status information. Some of the tools you've seen here are just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what is possible. We're also planning to use apps like ArcGIS Survey 123, crowdsourced photo story maps, operations dashboards, and workforce to enable us to not only collect and collate real-time information from stakeholders and the public and the field, but to then also be able to automatically filter out the truly valuable verified intel and visualize it and interpret it and use that live intel on large dashboards and maps. From that, the decision makers will then be able to deploy resources and assign tasks to units already out in the field, and emergency managers will be able to track the status of those resources and tasks in real time back in the operations centre. All of this technology will be freely available to Waikato CDM Group partners in due course.